Good evening, orchestra families. My name is Mr. Porter. I'm the director of orchestras here at Tompkins High School. Who you won't see in this meeting tonight is Miss Marts. Miss Marts is our assistant director who's in charge of many things here at the Tompkins Orchestra program. So we thank you for being here tonight, and we hope that you'll gain some insight into how we're running the year that we have this year in light of all the changes that have taken place that are, cross your fingers, temporary. I would encourage you to follow along in the handbook that's available online on our website, tompkinsorchestras.org. You can click that and follow along as we go through there. I will do my best to paraphrase all of the things that we're talking about tonight, because I know you can read well and you understand what's going on. So hopefully after this meeting, you'll have an idea of what's required, the policies and procedures that we have, the Tompkins Orchestra program, and how things are a little bit different. The first thing I want to encourage everybody to do, I will share my screen. If you'll notice, I'm just going to go ahead and go to the website, tompkinsorchestras.org. Very easy to read. If you'll take a look at it, you can see on the left side, there is a brief calendar of what's going on in the month that we're in. You have documents and forms that are here along the left side, and some reading down the middle if you're interested in checking this out. Home is the page we're on. We have the news page, calendar, about us, orchestra friends, our booster club, information about charms, some resources and media links if you'd like to take a look. Just today, I posted this area audition cuts. I usually keep this updated with handouts and things from class that are required. You'll also notice the handbook is right here. Before we jump into the handbook, I'd like to direct your attention to the news page. On the news page is a place that you can put your email address, first name, last name, hit subscribe. We're going to ask all of our orchestra families to be sure you subscribe to that. It's a little bit easier way to communicate to families. When we write that email, we try and be as concise as possible, make it easy to read, so you can skim over things and keep it in your inbox or delete as needed. Always keep a running archive of our newsletters. So these are the updates that we have sent so far. We've had 2 summer updates and a newsletter that was on the 20th. The other thing that we need to make sure everybody is on the same page with is our Remind account. The school district has upgraded Remind accounts this year. The Tompkins Orchestra Remind account has changed. So to subscribe to that, send the message, the @ TOMPORCH, TompOrch, to the number 81010. If you send that text message, you'll be subscribed. You'll get general updates from the Tompkins Orchestras. We also have specific codes for each class. We send that out in our newsletter, and if your child's not already subscribed, they can subscribe the next time that they see that. Let's jump right into our handbook here, and here's our cover page. Has a directory of everybody in the fine arts at Tompkins High School, a list of our student leaders, a table of contents, and then a reminder about forms and registration packet this year. Whenever you see that term, please understand that it just means the form that we're having everyone fill out that acknowledges the handbook and gives you links to pay your, what we're calling fair share orchestra fees this year. We usually just call mandatory orchestra fees. Program overview here talks about responsibility, commitment, dependability, and being excellent musically. Outlines our auditions and placement for the year. Talks a little bit about student assessment and the 2 things we like to see in our students: willingness to improve every day and a work ethic that improves our team. Attendance is listed here as well. We would encourage you to look over that. Of course, if we have regular rehearsals throughout the next semester, I suppose, or maybe some very small ones in this semester, we'll call those, and we'll let you know ahead of time. And obviously, the main idea is that you communicate with us. There is sort of a hierarchy of conflict response stuff that happens between coaches and directors And in all cases, we do our very best to communicate with other directors and other coaches so that the decision for attendance is out of your child's hand, and we work that out. So the coaches here at Tompkins are all really great. I enjoy visiting with them and also working out some of the conflicts that are inevitable with busy schedules during the regular year. Sectionals is listed here. Right now, we don't have any schedule of sectionals. It talks about makeup recordings just underneath this. It's good to be familiar with this. In fact, all of the orchestra students at Tompkins are now professional recording artists because they're doing a lot of recording from week to week, and our final projects will be made up of those recording projects as well. The main thing to know about this is that we do need video recordings for makeup recordings of your child playing, and they need to upload that to a Google Drive file, which is provided by the school district with basically unlimited storage. Once they get that uploaded, they need to copy the link to that file and email that to us. We also, just a quick note, that we may have some missed playing class assignments. For example, if we ask a student to demonstrate a scale for the class and for whatever reason they're not able to, we need a recording to be sent to us for that scale. We can skip the after-school rehearsal section, get on to quizzes and tests, and it talks about the breakdown and the late test assignment. So the only grade that we currently accept late work for is a test. So that would be a written test or a performance test. There's also a retesting policy. Now, when we have students in person, we just ask that they do it outside of the school day. It gives them a chance to keep improving and keep getting better at their playing. A few policies that will go into effect in addition. We're tying attendance and being on time into our daily grade. So if you'll notice, today is actually the first of the month that I'm recording this, and it's the day that we put in daily 6 weeks grades for all students. So it's one daily grade that's counted 6 times. It's weighted for the whole 6 weeks. And as the 6 weeks goes on, if we need to make adjustments to that, we'll deduct points from student averages. One of the things that we will start deducting for is being late. Most students are doing a great job at being on time for Zoom meetings. However, we have the same students that are continuously late every day. That's going to affect their attendance. And in fact, the first 2 or 3 minutes of class sometimes are the most important when we go over information like the parent meeting or upcoming events that need reminders about. There's also an original sound setting on Zoom that we've been working really closely with students and offering up office hours to help solve this. If your child hasn't figured out original sound, we're going to ask that they come in and we get that figured out. And in the case that we have a class assessment, we just ask them to demonstrate for the class. They're not able to play, then that will be 10 points off of their daily grade average until we get a recording of that performance. KDISD mandates the separation of grades for fine arts as such. 50% are major grades. These are written tests, playing or singing tests, public performances, performance projects, written projects. 35% minor grades, written or playing quizzes, rehearsal etiquette, day-to-day behavior, etc. 15% would be the homework grade, although I know most everything is homework these days. You can see the things that are listed there. Crew requirement is listed here as well. However, for this year, that is a little bit different. You can see this whole section that's crossed out is our policy for fundraiser, extra credits, and crew credit, which we will not talk about this year. In fact, the next section is about eligibility and the ability to be able to play at concerts where admission is charged, to be able to travel on trips with student groups. Eligibility is something that is always very important for those. While we do count eligibility for spring trips and such, UIL has decided to do away with this eligibility rule. Changes went into effect this past year, which we did not necessarily finish. All that is crossed out and to be revised. Rehearsal expectations from day to day, whether it is online or in person. We do have expectations that are listed here. No food, gum, or drink is allowed. Water is the only exception. Bring your bow, music binder, and instrument to school every day for those face-to-face learners, unless told otherwise by director. When the tardy bell rings, be in your seat or on the Zoom meeting with supplies ready to go. Speak or play when invited, follow instructions the first time, use appropriate language, be respectful to everyone in the room. That includes how you treat your peers. Respect the property of other individuals. Do not use other people's instruments. Use of mobile devices is not allowed. Of course, as we're on Zoom, it is widely allowed, but we do police that from time to time. On Zoom as well, we do have rules that we keep people aware of if we want cameras on or off. Student fingernail length should be short and groomed throughout the year. There is no time that nails should be long. It doesn't matter if it's prom season, whatever the case may be, please keep those short. And that does come off of your daily grade for that. Conduct is a general statement about conduct and being held to the KD standards and even higher standards, especially as we're on trips. Note at the bottom of this, conduct, student performers, audience members, student audience members should not be in possession of mobile devices. Keep them in your locker, instrument case, purse, other storage area. Failure to meet the standard will result in a 0 for your concert etiquette grade, should those concert etiquette grades happen this year. You will be asked to complete an additional assignment. Independent practice, this just talks about the quality instruction that these guys get, and practice habits at home are really essential, getting in that habit. We do issue practice records for Camerata and Philharmonia. That will start very soon as online reports that they'll fill out for us. Very easy. Once a week, they'll log in and send us their minutes they're practicing. Private lessons, it's a really great little write-up about private lessons and the advantages. In this time that we are all quarantined, one of the advantages we have is we have access to teachers we would not regularly have access to. So Zoom meetings or FaceTime meetings with teachers and arranging lessons that way is widely more available. In the last few weeks, I've made contact with several teachers, really fine teachers that are looking for students, and they do not really have a zip code bounds anymore. So if you're interested, send me an email and let me know. I'd be happy to point you in the right direction. One of the things we want to encourage with the practicing that happens at home is the idea that we are logging hours and putting in this time, preparing, getting better to work towards that first concert that we will be back together. That moment that we get to reunite and celebrate our community and the music that we make among us. So practice hard, and I look forward to that moment. Music is responsible of the students in the orchestra. Please take care of those. We do require 3-ring binder for all students, face-to-face people. If you're at home, just make sure you have a system to manage your music, whether that's electronic or physical. Lockers are assigned to students throughout the year. This year, a lot of this will not be applicable because I think with our learners that will be face-to-face. We'll issue lockers. However, we're not planning to use locks just because things will be so frequently in and out and so few people in the orchestra space. If we get to capacity where we need to start using lockers, those are already issued on the locker. We'll share locker combinations and give those out. So please keep in mind that you do not leave your instrument over the weekend or long holidays. Those need to be taken home. Uniforms and garment bags is the section that we don't really need to talk about at all. The only thing we do need to talk about is the informal uniform and our altered formal uniform. For this year, every student will purchase an orchestra t-shirt, $12. Undershirt is encouraged, especially for my dudes out there. Jeans and tennis shoes is a great informal concert wear in case we decide to do any playing in the community social distanced. The formal uniform this year is basically a nice black outfit. So some junior highs in our area have moved to this, but basically a nice shirt for men, our kiddos in the orchestra, and ladies, we have you can wear a nice blouse on top. We do ask that you keep the sleeves at least half length Gentlemen, we want to have slacks, not black jeans. Ladies, you're welcome to wear nice black pants, not jeans. Dress pants, or if you would prefer to wear a skirt, be sure that your skirt reaches your knees, if not lower. So when you're sitting, we have no issue there on stage. Black hose for ladies, black socks for gentlemen, and black formal shoes is always a must. So we'll continue with that tradition. Basically, we're calling that our all black for this school year. In regards to supplies, I would point out that all of these things are still expectations of the orchestra program. So I'm going to go through each one. You're welcome to address these things in the live chat that we have going. If you have questions, recommendations about strings, or places to find supplies. So under supplies, we need correctly sized instruments in good condition. To be honest, some of the junior high instruments that are being used that are migrating to the high school are not an encouraging instrument to play. So we'll be sending notes home about the quality of your instrument. If that is an issue, we need good quality rosin. Carbon fiber bow is a great bow. I always recommend wood bows. Contact your local violin shop. There's several in town that are very close that would be really eager to help you upgrade your bow, because sometimes that can make a huge difference. We need a 1-inch black binder, not a 1/2 inch, not a 1.5 inch, 1-inch black binder with pockets and a hard cover. For those face-to-face people, we also need 3-ring pencil bag to fit in your binder that holds your pencils, your tuner, and any other things that you might have, and number 2 pencils. The books listed here are the ones that we have been using for several years. Sinfonia, Sinfonietta, Cambiata, and Lyrica all use Habits of a Successful String Musician. Philharmonia and Camerata use a book called Habits of a Successful Middle-Level String Musician. Tuner and clip, unless otherwise you have permission, you need to have a Korg TM60. TM50 or 40 as well is great as well, but the TM stands for tuner and metronome. Any other devices that you have need to be approved by directors. Phones in rehearsal are not allowed, especially in live rehearsal. If you use them at home while you're rehearsing on your Zoom, that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. The clip that comes with that or purchased separately from that is also very important. When we're in noisy environments, it allows the tuner to pick up just your sound and to tune just your instrument without hearing the other noises around you. Shoulder rest for violin and viola. Miss Marts is our shoulder rest professional. She will be contacting you if we are interested in fitting different shoulder rests to different instruments. So in junior high, there's not a whole lot of time to customize the setup, and bodies are still growing. Holding an instrument a violin is one of the most awkward things you can possibly do. So there is a lot of strain and stress that can build up over time with the wrong shoulder rest. Soft cloth for cleaning off your instrument, wiping off rosin dust. Wire stands are a must. You should all have that at home. I might suggest a nice music stand as well that is not collapsible, as we're doing more playing from our homes. Rock stop for cello and bass players. And then finally, we need to emphasize that violins and violas need to carry extra strings in your case. Carry a good set of extra strings in your case and swap those out and buy a new set about once a year. If you have not rehaired your bow at least once a year, you need to send that in to get rehaired. If you still have a plastic bow from junior high, that is a great time to send that in and ask about an upgrade. If you have a repair that needs to be made and you're not sure if it needs a trip to the repair shop, let us know. Sometimes we can help you out and save you a trip and save you a little bit of money. Above all, neglecting repair may lead to long-term damage. So do your best to take care of that as soon as possible. I'm going to skip over fundraising for this year and go directly to our fees. This year, fees are a little bit different. We usually have an activity fee of $150. Again, we'll have that fee this year. Instead of activity fee, this is called a fair share fee. The fair share fee just goes to helping cover costs of all the things that we do throughout the year, expenditures that are not covered by the district. The things that will not be included this year, we don't have a maintenance fee. We also do not have a uniform bag purchase fee for our freshmen that are incoming. Next year, when and if we return to normal operations, we'll have a sophomore and freshman class that will purchase those bags. Cello and bass players that will be face-to-face will have a maintenance fee of $80. Please do not send us any money on the $80. KDISD assesses that in a different way. In fact, they like to use Charms for that. RevTrack is the program that's linked into Charms. We'll send more information about how to pay that maintenance fee at a later date. At this point in time, it doesn't include a lot of students in the orchestra. Tompkins Orchestra Friends Booster Club. There are so many parents who do so much behind the scenes work, and they have a great time while doing it. We would encourage you, if you are available, to come out and witness one of these meetings. It's a great thing to see the camaraderie and wonderful things that go on to help support students in the music classroom. With that, I'll introduce our Tompkins Orchestra Friend Booster Club President, Dr. Anna Chen.
Hello everyone, this is Dr. Chen. I'm the president of Tompkins Orchestra Friends. To the incoming class of 2024, I offer my most sincere welcome. To all my returning families, I'm so happy to know that you have chosen to support music education once more. For those of you who are new to us, Tompkins Orchestra Friends is a parent booster club that supports student musicians of Tompkins High School Orchestra. It is a group of parents who volunteers time, energy, and talent to help with various orchestra events throughout the school year. Each month we have a board meeting. Everyone is welcome to attend. For now, all meetings are conducted remotely via Zoom meeting. Don't you just love the word Zoom? This year, COVID-19 pandemic has changed everything. With much anxiety and confusion, many of us are doing our best to be flexible and adaptable. Through the families that I have encountered in the last 6 months, I see your efforts and I feel your frustration. Whether you're doing in-person or online learning next week, I believe that every mom, dad, and guardian has made the best decisions for their families. Every family has its own untold story. After our first board meeting last week, and after much reflection upon the current circumstances, we have decided that our goal this year is to concentrate on giving back to our students and supporting the community. For example, to help community small businesses, we plan to have regular takeout dinner spirit nights with 100% of proceeds going back to the businesses. We have also doubled our budget for end of the year Booster Club Scholarship. Every year, Tompkins Orchestra Friends Scholarship recognizes outstanding orchestra students in 2 categories, music and academic. In addition, we were able to support our directors and orchestras in making virtual concerts by either getting the necessary equipment or seeking help from the professional audio-video experts. We believe that it is vital and rewarding for our students to see the final product in which their daily hardworking, good skills are utilized to create beautiful music together virtually. Last but not the least, I would like to invite everyone to join Tompkins Orchestra Friends. You can also get involved by contacting me for any volunteering opportunities. So finally, I have to admit that so far the year 2020 is a year full of disappointments, but it can also be a year filled with compassion and grace. I hope that by working together, we will support each other with courage, kindness, and resilience. To all my orchestra parents and students out there, please remember that you're never alone. As Mr. Porter recently posted on Tompkins High School Orchestra Facebook page, perhaps one day, somewhere over the rainbow, we will make music together again.
Thank you, Dr. Chen. We appreciate your time that you spend with the orchestras. Extracurricular competitions include UIL, State Song Ensemble, TMEA All-State. Those are all in addition to the work that students do during the academic year. Next section talks about the letter awards. For the year, there's a letter jacket point sheet that is posted on the website, tompkinsorchestras.org. You need 15 points to qualify for your high school letter jacket. Over the course of the years your child is in the orchestras, we encourage them to print that off. And once they feel like they have that completed, fill that out, turn it in, and I will turn it into the main campus for approval. Unfortunately, this year, our spring trip is something that we just cannot commit to. There's too many unknowns at this point. So we're skipping into our charms information. At this point, charms is actually something that we're using primarily for managing student information. We usually track inventory, we track payments, which we'll be doing again. So orchestra fees that you're paying will be tracked through charms. Students do have access to this. The password requirement has changed. If you have that password from last year, students, you can log on with that same password and it will probably ask you to change it to something that meets their requirements. What they don't tell you is you can change it again to something that is a little bit easier to remember if you do that. If you need help with that, let me know, send me an email. I'm happy to reset those passwords. The next section are two of the forms that we are not using, so please don't pay any attention to these. One is the summary of fees, just so we can track payments. We're doing all of that online. Parent authorization for travel and treatment of student is listed here. At this point in time, I am not sending this out. When we do send it out, I'll have an electronic version to send to you to fill out and return so that we do have that information. So that rounds out our handbook. Just to give you an idea of our events that we have planned for this year, our goal is to replicate the experience that students have every year outside of the classroom in the best way that we know how. So we have a budget for clinicians. We're bringing in lots of people to work with your students and give them just an extra special experience with those teachers. We also have some projects, at least in the first semester, that have been planned and are already in process of being pushed out. And that would include recording projects where we combine all of the projects into a presentation and we present that presentation online. And I'm very excited about this just because it's a chance for us to feel a little bit of community that we have lost, a chance for us to be together online and to type in the chat box and just be together and enjoy the product that our kiddos push out. We are looking forward to that, and we'll be sending more details about that at a later time. For our forms and fees this year, we have one online fee that we'll be sharing with you. We'll be sending the link to you, provided in the chat on this YouTube video. If you will click through, you'll find general information and an acceptance of the handbook policy and things that have been laid out that we talked about briefly. If you have questions about that, please let me know. I'm more than glad to answer those. If you would, when you submit that, please understand that also while the fees are listed there and you can pay those fees online, there is also an option to pay those fees in person. The in-person drop-off for that was we'll do a drive-by dropping off of orchestra fair share fees this Friday. That is tomorrow, is the day that you're watching this video, from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And it's likely, if requested, we can extend those hours. But from 3 to 4 o'clock, we'll have a drive-by drop-off in the back fine arts lot, so you can come by and hand that off to us if you so choose. However, I believe most of you would choose the online option. The online fees to pay your orchestra fair share fees online is very minimal. It only adds $2 or $3 to the transaction itself. We have it broken up by, you can do one payment, you can split it up into 2 payments and make the first payment now. If you require special accommodations, if you'd like to make let's say $20 a month payments, there is a section that you can click on that and write out your payment options before you submit your form. Once you submit the form, we'll have all of that information. The link to the payments, be sure you click on the link to the payments before you submit the form. And then the payments will go through directly to our booster club. And also the last thing I need to mention is that your orchestra fees won't be considered complete until we have information about the transaction. So once that's completed, we'll line those up and we'll mark it complete and done. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer those. My first name is Matthew, M-A-T-T-H-E-W. Last name is Porter, P-O-R-T-E-R, at kdisd.org. You're welcome to contact me. If you would prefer a phone call, number here is 281-234-1074. Glad to chat with you over the phone as well. So despite our circumstances, I'm looking forward to a fantastic year of music making. And already in the first couple weeks of school, there's been some amazing things happening in the orchestra classroom online. So everyone take care. We wish you well. Take care of each other, and let's have a great orchestra year.